The reason why I'm heading to this point, because some people just came out and you hear them twisting words out of the Quran. They will take an Arabic word and then create a new meaning. And to make it worse, most of them are following hadith in disguise, but they don't see it. Because where do they get their meanings? They go to other Arabian books somebody has written in history. Then they will twist a meaning and say, look, here they say al-musalli. Salat means following closely. It means when the horse is following the first one and it goes like this, then we call it al-musalli. Are you serious? Are you serious? An Arabian book, somebody's opinion is now going to explain the words of God to you. Seriously? Or you think Quran was the only book God ever sent? That's why he tells you in chapter 21 verse 7, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Go and add the people of the Zikr, the people al-Kitab, people who receive books before the Quran. Go and ask them if you do not know. Yes, there is no new concept Prophet Muhammad brought. Everything he brought was from the creed of Abraham. It is already there. He is only bringing it because other books have been corrupted. So the Quran has to serve as a confirmation of what was before it. It's just like I graduate from a particular school, right? And then I bring a certificate whereby I have forgeries in them. The only way to confirm if I actually passed the exams I did or not is to call back to the school so that they will cross-check and confirm whatever I have there. Then they will tell you, oh yes, he got 1 here, he got 2 here, he got 3 here. That is it. That is what the Quran is here to do. So what do you mean by you're following closely and oh, for people who are telling you there's no ritual in Islam, tell them they should come and face me, Shu'aib Abdullah. Let's have a live dialogue so that they will explain to the people what it meant by a ritual, right? Then I will tell them they have been ignorant to that fact that they don't know what a ritual is. They don't understand the meaning of a ritual. Now in the Quran, when we say ritual, manasika, mansaka, nusuk, or sha'aira, which is the plural form is sha'ira, is a ritual. You can find it in chapter 5 verse 2. That is a ritual there. Chapter 5 verse 2 of the Quran. There is a ritual there. Right? So ritual is nothing new. It's in the Quran. But people just don't understand because they twist the words out of context every day. They just go outside the Quran to create new meanings and they think they know. So look, the only way for a football team to claim he's the best or he knows how to play football is to face another opponent. If you agree with me, the only way a football team should claim he's the best team in the world is to face another opponent and justify it on the field. Then we can testify, oh, this team is the best. So if you claim you know the Quran, or the following closely you have created, or the commitment you have created, I only exhort you. Is it difficult? Come, let's have a live dialogue and prove to the people. Is it difficult? So ladies and gentlemen, just share my videos. Let every person who belongs to that kind of akida they've created for themselves come and let's arrange. We are not, look, we can have a respectful dialogue without getting on the necks of each other. Simple. Is it difficult? Don't just hide behind your computer as a keyboard warrior and then you are just typing your mind, oh, Salat means following. Look at the gibberish somebody translated just yesterday. Chapter 5 verse 6, I pasted on my wall or somewhere people can see. Look at the gibberish. And then the Hadithiyun will be on the side laughing. Look what we said. The Quran alone, they don't even know Arabic. They don't understand. What kind of ignorance is this? Now, when we say sha'ira in the Quran, it is a plural form of what? Ritual. That is sha'ira. That is sha'ira. Sha'irat. So that is rituals. Now, what is the meaning of rituals? What is the meaning of a ritual or rituals? Any customary observance or practice as a custom, something you keep doing. Remember, Salat didn't start from us. It started from the previous prophets. So it is a ritual. It keeps going. It is something which has to be persistence. Keep going. Generations after generation. That is the definition of a ritual. What else do you need to be told? That salat is a ritual. How I there's a comedian in my country, he's called Lily Wayne. He will tell you, I can't think far. Is this difficult? When we say ritual, it's any customary observance or practice. Salat is not a new thing. Look, I'm going to show you today. All the prophets, previous prophets of God, have done salat. Let me help you here. Now, salat, the reason why the salat is a definite article, as salat in the Quran, because it's definite. You can't change it. It is something which has already been done by the prophets. It is not starting from you, the following closely, or commitment guys. It started with the prophets. So it is a ritual. That is the definition here. Any customary observance or practice. Because it keeps going. You can't stop it. God said it should be there till eternity. So the reason why the salat has a definite article, as salat. God didn't just say salat. He says akimu, as salat. It is a definite article. When something is definite, you don't change the meaning. For instance, the sun which is shining upside on the sky, in the sky, we call it the sun because it's a definite article. You can't change the meaning and give it the cow. So if I'm talking to you and I say, do you see the sun? It is the sun. The sun is the sun. You can't change it. So now if God is talking to us in the Quran and he said the salat, it didn't start from you, the following closely person. Can't you reason and check who established the salat before you? Is it difficult? If you claim you know better, why don't you step up? Let's have a live dialogue and see. Now, when we say a salat, it didn't start from us, according to the Quran. Right? When something is definite, the meaning does not change. It remains the same. So, for example, God says as-salat. It has a definite article, adatul tarif in Arabic. Chapter 19, verse 58 to 59. God said this prophet established what we call as-salat. After them, a group of people who came, they what? Ada'us salat. They lost the as-salat because it's a definite thing. Chapter 14, verse 40. Abraham told God, Rabbi ja'alni mukima salati wa min zurriyati. He supplicated to God and told God, let me be an establisher of the salat, as-salat, a definite thing. Chapter 19, verse 55. Ishmael, the son of Abraham, also established the salat and exhorted his family to establish the salat. So God uses the word the salat, as-salat. It's a definite thing. It's a ritual. If something keeps going as a customary practice, it is a ritual. Please go back to your academics and study. Now, chapter 10, verse 87, God told Moses and Aaron to establish the salat. It is nothing new. Because it's a ritual, it has to keep going. That is what we call a ritual. Chapter 19, verse 31, Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, he was exhorted to establish the salat. It is nothing new. It is a ritual. Do you get my point? Chapter 4, verse 102, Muhammad alayhi salam was exhorted to establish the salat for the believers. It is a ritual. It is nothing new. Right? So don't start twisting words of God out of context anyhow you like. To understand the book, ask the people of the zikr. Fas'alu ahli zikr in kuntum la ta'lamun. The previous people, Ahl al-Kitab, who received the books of God. Ask them questions and see what the Quran confirms. Simple. What is it with the following closely? In which book can we also go and find following closely apart from the books of God? Do you have any following closely anywhere that you created a meaning? Can we go any previous book and see where God confirms something called following closely? Now, so like I said, when we say ritual, in Arabic is sha'ira, that is sha'ira in plural form, rituals, right? Now, this word nusuk or manasika is also rituals, but it is in the form of animal slaughtering. That is nusuk or manasika. That is for animals, the offering, right? But then when we have the sha'aira, it is a particular ritual which God has done and ordained for you to do for him. Remember, Salat, according to chapter 20, verse 40, Innani ala Allah la ilaha illa ana fa'abuduni wa aqimis salat li zikri. So Salat is established for the remembrance of God. You don't establish Salat for Muhammad. You don't establish Salat for Jesus. You don't establish Salat for anybody else. It is for the remembrance of God. That is Salat. So when we say a ritual, the second meaning, the prescribed procedure for conducting religious ceremonies, that is a ritual. So if God has prescribed something for you to do in the religion of God, how is it difficult when we say Salat is a ritual? How is it difficult for you to understand this grammar? So last time I was talking about chapter 5 verse 6 when God was explaining about the washing, the ghusl, that is the washing. People will call it ablution, some will call it wudu. God never called it as such, but yes, it doesn't take the context out. It is the washing. Now the funny part is somebody is even saying is that this has nothing to do with water. I need to get this person face to face and ask him how do Arabians call water in Arabic language? It hurts me this person doesn't show his face. So beware of these satanic agents out there who are doing such things. Right? Beware of them. Now, so chapter 5 verse 6 gave us the wudu, that what Arabics call wudu. God never called it wudu, but let's take it, okay, ablution. But God prescribes something to us and says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, iza kuntum ila salat, when you get up to the salat. Fagusuluhum wujuhakum. This word ghusl, the verb is a ghusl, to wash, to bath, to wash. So here it's talking about washing. Fagusuluhum wujuhakum. Remember, somebody will say, oh, God, why didn't God just mention take water first? God is not talking to fools. He's addressing to intelligent people. When you tell an intelligent person, go and wash your mouth, do you need to tell him take water to wash your mouth? Or do you think he will use sand to wash his mouth? Do you get the point? So, فَغُسُلُوا وُجُوءَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ. So God is telling you something to precisely do. He will have told you go and do what you want. But he is pinpointing something precisely. This is what makes it a ritual. Let your common sense work, people, please. Let your common sense reason and work well. Quran chapter 12 verse 2, Quran chapter 43 verse 3 is telling us God sent down the Quran so that we may use reasoning. Yes. Good. Now, according to chapter 4 verse 43, God is saying do not approach the salat whilst you are intoxicated. Unless you know or until you know what you are saying, because it tells you the Quran, the salat consists of reciting the verses of God, doing a lot of things, supplication, glorification, and other things in the same salat. You understand? So that salat, God is telling you, do not come to the salat if you are intoxicated. Sukara. Now sukara can be not only when you drink alcohol you are intoxicated. Even if you go to the drugstore, the pharmacy to buy a medicine. Some medications have restrictions telling you that, hey, if you take this medication, don't drive, go and sleep. You become intoxicated, right? So in that context, even if you take a drug and you are intoxicated, don't come to the salat because you will not know what you're doing. Same thing when a person is in a deep sleep. Don't force to wake him up to say, go and do salat. No, you confuse him. We have people when they are in the deep sleep and they get up, they miss their way. They don't know what they are even doing. Don't force the person. That is why the youth in the cave, chapter 18, when you read from chapter 18 verse 10 downwards to verse 21, when they fell asleep in the cave for 309 years as a miracle, they missed the salat. God doesn't need to punish them for that, because God is telling you do not approach the salat whilst you are intoxicated. So that this intoxication has nothing to do with wine. Remember, it is talking to believers. Do you get the point? So believers are not living an intoxicated life, but it's telling you the intoxication can happen in multiple contexts. It can happen in different ways. right? Sometimes you can be sitting down for a while and you get up and then you're intoxicated. You want to fall down. It happens in different contexts. It doesn't only have to be alcohol which gives you intoxication. Now, so we see chapter 4 verse 43, God is telling us to approach the Salat, which is a ritual. Because it's a ritual, it has a definite customary observance which has been prescribed to you. Like I told you, a ritual is the prescribed procedure for conducting religious ceremonies. So because it is a ritual, God is now telling you, don't come to the Salat whilst you are intoxicated. If it has nothing to do with rituals, God will not say don't do that. He will allow you to do what you want. Do you get my point? So since that Salat is a definite article, God says do not approach the Salat, which means it's a ritual. So you have to approach it whilst you are not intoxicated. Because if you are intoxicated, you are not allowed to come to the Salat. That evidently makes it a ritual. You have to be sound without intoxication to approach the Salat, so that you know what you are saying, because you are going to be saying things in the Salat. That makes it a ritual. So for people who are telling you there's no ritual in Islam, tell them to go back to school and study. What is the meaning of ritual? You just ask them, simple question. Sir, please, what is the meaning of ritual? Let them define their meaning of ritual. Then you come to them, you tell them, how are you saying Salat is not a ritual when it has started since the times of Abraham, the prophets? They keep doing it, they keep establishing it till us. What is the meaning of ritual? It's a customary observance, a practice, which keeps going. You understand?